Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at not one, but two super exciting NASA missions that are about to blast off. SPHEREx and PUNCH and...
I love it when they launch together.
Me too! I know, right? And we're going to be going through this really cool article that we found titled, Launching Friday, NASA's SPHEREx and PUNCH are ready to unlock the secrets of space. This article is just awesome.
It is cool.
It is so cool. It's really got me fired up about these missions. Just to give you a taste, we're going to be talking about things like what happened right after the Big Bang.
Crazy.
I know. Are we alone in the universe?
The big question.
I know. And how does the sun's atmosphere affect us here on Earth?
Yeah, it kind of controls everything we do.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild how these missions, they work together in a way. SPHEREx is looking way back in time, the earliest moments of the universe.
Yeah.
And then PUNCH is focused on our sun.
Right here.
Right here in our solar system.
Yeah.
It just shows how much we still don't know about space.
Yeah, and I think it just highlights how interconnected everything out there is, right? Understanding one piece of the puzzle can unlock secrets about another.
Totally. It's all a giant cosmic web.
Exactly. Okay, but before we get too deep into the sciencey stuff, let's just do a quick rundown of the logistics of this launch.
Launch logistics.
Yeah. So these two missions, they're actually hitching a ride on the same rocket.
Double launch.
I know, which is super cool. It's a SpaceX Falcon 9.
Nice.
And they're launching from Vandenberg Space Force Base in California.
Right.
And the launch date is February 28th, so very, very soon. But it's late at night, 10:09 p.m. Eastern time.
Ooh, late night launch.
So if you're a night owl like me, you might want to set an alarm for this one.
Worth it.
Oh, for sure. It's so cool that we can launch two missions on one rocket now.
Yeah, it's amazing how efficient things have become. It saves money, and you get double the science data.
Totally. Okay, let's start by talking about SPHEREx. So that stands for...
If you're ready for it.
Spectro-Photometer for the History of the Universe, Epoch of Reionization, and ICE's Explorer.
Catchy, right?
I know it's a mouthful. Even for scientists.
I know, right? But the mission itself is even cooler than the name, I promise.
For sure. So basically, SPHEREx is going to create this incredibly detailed 3D map of the whole sky.
Wow, the whole sky.
I know. And not just a snapshot, but it's going to be a map that'll let us literally look back in time to the earliest moments of the universe.
Time travel. Kind of.
That's kind of what it feels like, right?
Yeah, it is. By looking at the light from these super distant galaxies, we can learn about what happened billions of years ago.
That's so wild.
It is.
So SPHEREx is going to be studying this period called the Epoch of Reionization.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one. It happened a few 100 million years after the Big Bang.
That's so hard to even imagine what that must have been like.
Right. It was basically when the first stars and galaxies started forming in their light.
Yeah.
It basically reionized the universe,
yeah.
which was full of just this neutral hydrogen gas at the time.
Okay, so walk me through that again. So the universe is filled with this gas.
Hydrogen gas. Yeah.
And then these first stars and galaxies start to form, and then what? Their light.
Their light, it interacts with this gas and changes its state. It's like a flipped a switch, tuning the universe from dark to light.
So SPHEREx is going to show us that moment, the cosmic dawn.
Exactly. When the first lights in the universe switched on. Think about how cool that is.
Oh my gosh, I'm already getting chills. But wait, there's more.
Always more.
I know. SPHEREx is also going to be looking for something called ices.
Ices? In space?
Yes. So we're not talking about the ice in your freezer.
Okay.
This is frozen water and other molecules that are the building blocks for life.
Ah, so it's looking for the ingredients for life.
Exactly. So by mapping where these ices are in the galaxy, SPHEREx can tell us how common they are out there.
That's huge. If the ingredients for life are everywhere, that means the chances of finding life elsewhere just went way up.
I know. This is mind-blowing stuff. So we could potentially learn if the basic ingredients for life are just scattered throughout the universe.
Exactly. It's a question that scientists have been asking for centuries. Are we alone? And SPHEREx might actually help us answer that.
Wow. Okay. I'm officially hooked on SPHEREx. But we can't forget about PUNCH. This mission is all about our very own star, the sun.
The big guy?
I know. So PNCH stands for Polarimeter to unify the corona and heliosphere.
Another mouthful.
I know, right? But here's the cool part. PUNCH is actually 4 spacecraft working together.
Wait, 4? Like a little fleet?
Exactly. They're like a team of synchronized space detectives all focused on the sun.
I love that analogy. Space
Mhm.
detectives. So what are they investigating?
Well, they're going to be studying the sun's corona, which is like the outermost layer of the sun's atmosphere.
Oh, yeah, the corona. Isn't that what we see during a solar eclipse?
Yes, exactly. That's the one. It's super hot, like millions of degrees Celsius. And PUNCH is going to help us understand how the corona turns into the solar wind.
Ah, the solar wind. That's that
Huh?
stream of charged particles that's constantly flowing out from the sun, right?
You got it. And that solar wind, it like travels throughout the entire solar system.
It's everywhere.
It is. And it affects us here on Earth, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It can cause like those beautiful auroras you see in the sky.
Oh, yeah, the northern lights.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
But it can also cause like problems. It could disrupt satellites and even power grids.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's right. I actually remember reading about this huge solar storm that happened back in like 1859, I think. And it caused telegraph systems to go haywire all over the place.
Easy.
I know. It's kind of scary to think how vulnerable our technology is to those kinds of events.
Yeah, that is. And that's why PUNCH is so important. By studying the corona and how the solar wind is generated, we can learn to predict these solar storms and protect ourselves.
So it's like PUNCH is giving us a space weather forecast.
Exactly. A much needed one.
So not only are we learning about the sun itself, but we're also learning how to stay safe from its sometimes unpredictable behavior.
Right. And this is super important as we start to venture further out into space, for future missions and stuff. We need to understand the risks and how to mitigate them.
That makes a lot of sense. It's kind of like knowing the terrain before you set out on a big expedition.
Yeah. Space is our new frontier, and the sun is like the ultimate gatekeeper.
It's crazy to think that the sun is constantly blasting stuff out into space and it's reaching us here on Earth.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder that we're not really isolated. We're part of this huge interconnected system.
Totally. It's like space weather, right? It's a thing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Uh-huh.
And PUNCH is going to help us understand it so much better.
Okay, but before we get too carried away with the solar wind, let's circle back to SPHEREx for a minute.
Back to the deep past.
Right. So the article mentions that SPHEREx is going to be observing hundreds of millions of galaxies.
Yeah, it's going to be creating this massive database of information about all these galaxies, their composition, how they're distributed, like a cosmic inventory.
A cosmic inventory. I love that. We're going to finally know what's out there and how it all fits together.
Exactly. It's going to revolutionize our understanding of the universe.
Yeah.
And who knows, we might even discover some totally new types of galaxies.
Well, for real. Galaxies we've never even imagined before.
It's possible. We're talking about vast stretches of space that have never been observed in this much detail before.
Okay, now you're really getting me excited.
I know, right? It's like opening a treasure chest.
Yeah.
We have no idea what we're going to find. We could even find clues about dark matter and dark energy.
Whoa, hold on. Dark matter and dark energy, the ultimate cosmic mysteries.
The ones we know almost nothing about.
Yeah, we know they exist because of their gravity, but we have no clue what they actually are.
Right, exactly. They make up the majority of the universe, but they're completely invisible to us.
Spooky.
It is kind of spooky. But SPHEREx might actually be able to help us narrow down the possibilities, get us closer to understanding what these mysterious substances are made of.
Okay. I am officially mind blown. So we've got SPHEREx looking back to the dawn of time, searching for the building blocks of life, and maybe even cracking the code of dark matter and dark energy.
It's a pretty ambitious mission.
It is. And then we have PUNCH keeping an eye on our very own star, the sun, making sure we don't get caught off guard by any nasty solar storms.
The dynamic duo of space exploration.
I love it. Okay, so back to PUNCH. The article says that these 4 spacecraft are going to give us a 360-degree view of the solar wind.
Yeah, it's like having a network of weather stations in space constantly monitoring the sun's activity.
That's awesome. So they're all talking to each other, right? Sharing data and stuff?
Yeah, they have to be super coordinated to make sure we get complete coverage. It's a really impressive feat of engineering.
It's like they're a team of space detectives all working together to solve the mystery of the solar wind.
Exactly. They're gathering clues, piecing together the puzzle of how the sun affects the space environment.
And ultimately how it affects us here on Earth.
Right, because what happens on the sun doesn't stay on the sun. It ripples out through the solar system, and we're right in the path of those ripples.
Okay, so I have to ask this because it just hit me. You've got SPHEREx looking back to the very beginning of the universe, and we've got PUNCH focused on the sun, which is the source of life for us here on Earth.
Interesting connection.
It is.
Yep.
And they both rely on light, right? Like SPHEREx is analyzing the light from distant galaxies, and PUNCH is studying the light from the sun.
You're right. Light is like the messenger of the universe.
Hmm.
It carries information across vast distances and tells us the story of what's out there.
It's amazing to think that something as simple as light can reveal so much about the universe, from its earliest moments to the star that sustains us today.
It's mind-blowing when you think about it. And we're still learning so much about light and how to use it to unlock the secrets of the cosmos.
That's so cool. And speaking of unlocking secrets, launching 2 missions like SPHEREx and PUNCH together, that's a pretty bold move, right?
It is. It shows how far we've come in terms of technology and our ability to coordinate these complex missions.
I'm honestly feeling a little bit of pride right now, like humanity is capable of doing some pretty amazing things.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's inspiring to think about all the brilliant minds that came together to make these missions happen.
I can't wait to see what they discover. I have a feeling they're going to rewrite the textbooks on cosmology and solar physics.
Oh, for sure. Every new mission changes our understanding of the universe. It's a constant evolution.
It's like we're always adding new pieces to the puzzle, but the puzzle keeps getting bigger.
That's the beauty of science.
Yeah.
There's always more to learn.
Exactly. We may never have all the answers, but that's what makes the journey so exciting. It's easy to get caught up in all the technical stuff.
Yeah.
But I keep coming back to this basic question. What does all this mean for us here on Earth? Why should we care about these missions?
That's a great question, and I think the answer is perspective. SPHEREx, by looking back to the very beginning of the universe, it reminds us just how vast time and space are and how tiny we are in comparison.
Yeah, it's humbling in a way, right?
Definitely. It puts things into perspective.
Yeah.
And it makes you think about the possibility of other worlds, other life out there.
It does. It makes you wonder if we're really alone in all of this.
Exactly. And then you have PUNCH, which is focused on our sun, our own star, the source of life for us here on Earth.
Right. It's easy to forget that the sun is a star, too.
It is. And a pretty important one. And PUNCH is showing us that what happens on the sun doesn't just stay there. It affects us directly here on Earth.
Totally, like those solar storms we were talking about.
Yeah, exactly. If we can understand the sun better thanks to PUNCH, we might be able to predict those storms and protect ourselves.
Like a space weather forecast.
Exactly. We could protect our power grids, our satellites, even astronauts on future missions.
So these missions, they're not just about science. They're about, our survival as a species.
In a way, yes. We're learning how to navigate the challenges of space and how to live in harmony with our cosmic environment.
Wow, that's deep.
It is. But it's also exciting. We're pushing the boundaries of knowledge and exploration.
So for anyone listening who's feeling overwhelmed by all this, I think the takeaway is this. SPHEREx and PUNCH, they represent the very best of humanity. Our curiosity, our ingenuity, our drive to explore.
I agree. They're an inspiration for sure.
And who knows, maybe their discoveries will inspire the next generation of scientists and engineers, the ones who will take us even further.
Absolutely. These missions are planting seeds for the future.
I love that analogy.
Thanks.
So I guess we've reached the end of our deep dive into SPHEREx and PUNCH.
2 incredible missions.
One epic launch and a whole universe of possibilities waiting to be discovered.
I'm excited.
Me too. I'm definitely setting an alarm for February 28th. I don't want to miss that launch.
Me neither. It's going to be historic.
It is. And on that note, we'll sign off for today. Be sure to check out NASA's website or social media for updates on the launch and all the cool discoveries that are sure to come from SPHEREx and PUNCH.
Keep looking up.
Exactly. Keep looking up and keep exploring. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll see you next time.